I don't have all my stuff. Hold on. All right. Okay. Let me have my stuff. It don't matter how much I think that I'm together and prepared. Not until I click go live do I realize that, you don't have this, you don't have this thing you need, you don't have this ain't set up. All kinds of stuff is going on. Okay. Hey, you know what? You be making a little too much racket for me. Let's hello. Today, what are we talking about today? Ooh, today we're talking about chlamydia. I know you all are so excited. So excited to talk about chlamydia. Hey, we gotta know, right? Um, I believe, let me look up some of the, I didn't look that up before, but I want to say in certain states, there is a outbreak um, of chlamydia. Sometimes it gets like really out of hand. Depending on what state, I think right now, um, I think in Oklahoma, I don't think it's chlamydia. I think it's syphilis, actually. Let me see. I want to say Oklahoma. Let's see. Oklahoma STI outbreaks. I really want to say it's syphilis. Yes. In 2023, Oklahoma reported 18,729 cases of chlamydia, the state's most prevalent STI. Um, let's see, where does that put us in the 50 states? Saw some of the highest rates of sexually transmitted infection in the nation. Specifically in syphilis and chlamydia. Chlamydia saw 18,729 cases. The okay. That was in 2023, but in 2024, Oklahoma decreased its number of cases by 44%. Okay. This, you know what? I'm gonna have to send a little email to our health department. It says Oklahoma was previously a leader in syphilis cases across the nation in 2022, but new Oklahoma cases have been cut in half compared to just last year. The CDC reports that in 2023 there were 1,112 primary and secondary cases of the infection and 78 for the congenital variant. However, by the end of 2024, both numbers had dropped substantially. Congenital syphilis cases dropped to 50 cases throughout the year, while the primary and secondary cases dropped over 50% to 517 total cases. So it's important that you know what the what the sexually transmitted infection is. That's okay. So firstly, you should be concerned with all sexually transmitted infections, but you should be super in tune to what sexually transmitted infections are moving in your area. Okay, they're not always the same. So here, and in different demographics, right? So for here, it was syphilis and chlamydia. In other places, it's gonorrhea. In some other places, it's, different types of STIs, HSV, other types of things. HPV, my bad, HPV. HPV is, we'll have to talk about that another day, but that's a very common sexually transmitted infection. But the reason why this conversation is important, why are we having it? First of all, let's talk about what sexually transmitted infections are and what they are not, okay? Sexually transmitted infections are infections that are contracted through sexual activity, okay? It does not matter how much sexual activity, it doesn't matter how many partners you have. None of that is important to the sexually transmitted infection. All that matters is that the virus is present and that you are engaging in an activity that will make you susceptible to it, okay? So a lot of times we have big stigmas and big feelings around sexually transmitted infections, which is kind of unfair, especially since most people who contract sexually transmitted infections are not contracting them, doing whatever ungodly activities people think. They're mostly just having sex with a partner that they thought was safe, and they just didn't, know how to have the conversation or what to do to, get tested or get checked or have their partner get checked for sexually transmitted infections. So the multitude of people who get sexually transmitted infections get them from having consensual sexual activity, usually from one partner, okay? So if that's happening and most people are out having sex with one partner, then, catching a sexually transmitted infection is one of the byproducts of engaging in sexual activity. Most of those sexual encounters can take place in a way that you are not putting yourself at risk. But if you do, like 99% of what you catch, if you catch it early enough and, you are aware of what's going on with your body, most of those things can be mitigated. Most of them have treatment plans, and some of them even have cures, right? So the stigma that is around sexually transmitted infections makes it more difficult to contain if we're not having the conversation about STDs and STIs, and we are not getting tested for STDs and STIs because we don't want to have the conversation, or because, sexually transmitted infections are, dirty, or for dirty people, or whatever society has told us about the conditions in which we exist can have an effect on how we are treating our bodies and the type of risks that we're taking with our bodies, okay? So getting a sexually transmitted infection is not the end of the world. It does not mean that you're dirty. It does not mean that you're a terrible person. It does not mean any of those things. It just means that you had sex with someone who was positive for a specific type of virus, okay? Now, of course, there are ways that you can make sure this doesn't happen to you, but I absolutely understand how it still can happen, okay? Like, I'm a realist. I understand, what we out here doing. I get it. And I'm not going to tell you that, you're going to go throughout your life and never contract anything. That's unrealistic, okay? It's unrealistic. What I am going to tell you is that if you stay on top of your sexual health and on top of your body and know how your body reacts, know when something is off, you have a better chance of catching it at a good enough time to be able to get a treatment and possibly even cure it, right? Now, if you don't do that, if you get the you're engaging in the risky behavior, you are making yourself susceptible to the sexually transmitted infection, and then you're not getting tested, you're not staying on top of your care, you're not taking care of your body, and you let that infection fester and move to other places and do other things, then now you're going to have a problem, right? That's when you're going to see long-term effects to something that could have been rectified in the beginning with just a conversation and a little bit of knowledge about your body, okay? So having an STI, getting an STI does not make you a terrible person. Hold on, I think I got a question. What would you do if your daughter becomes gay? And that is gay. I am terrible with my flag, so I think that's what you mean. What would I do if your daughter becomes gay? Why would it matter what my daughter is doing with her butthole? I wouldn't be concerned with what my child was doing with their private parts because those parts don't belong to me. So I understand why parents feel some type of way about their children's sexuality, but what if your daughter becomes a murderer? What if she becomes an abuser of children? What if she races buffalo? There's plenty of I don't know. I just don't think that I do not think that it is a parent's responsibility to try to influence their child's sexuality. If you want to be a good parent, try to influence your child's character. That is what's important. Trying to influence how they have sex seems weird to me. Yes, I would be supportive of anyone who wanted to be gay. I actually think that more people should be gay. I think that's why people are angry, because there's a whole lot of people who have these really visceral reactions to how other people are using their private parts. And I really can't wrap my mind around that. Like, I don't, and especially if it's someone who's close to me. I have plenty of gay friends. I have, I also sniff girls' necks occasionally. So I don't, again, I would be supportive of anyone, my child, someone else's child, your child, anyone who wanted to live in whatever truth they feel, even if it's only temporary. You should be able to walk through life, and you should be able to move through life without people making, bids on your private parts. So yes, I would be supportive if my daughter or my son or my they, them, whoever, I would be supportive of anyone who wanted to be out and free. And yeah, I mean, it's Pride Month, baby. Let the flags fly. Everybody should be able to live in this space together, right? We are not all the same. We don't all do the same thing to our bodies. We don't all dress the same. We don't wear the same types of makeup. We don't eat the same types of food. We don't all have to do the same thing. And so, but we all do have to make space for everyone else who's here. I am not religious, right? So as a part of that, I have to make space for people who are religious because they have to live here too. But I don't impose my non-religion on them, and I don't want them imposing their non-religion on me. You live your life, do whatever you want to do. Be happy. If it makes you a better person, I support it, whatever it is. Whatever it is. So, yes, I would. Um, okay. Oh, we're talking about chlamydia. All right, all right. So let's go to the board. Boom. All right. So, want to say again that if you're just getting here or whatever, we're talking about STIs. This is a non-judgmental space. I am not here to, chastise you or make you feel bad about um, what you're doing with your body. That's not my business. I just want to make sure that you're being safe and that you understand the risks, and so that you can do some of these behaviors without the risk, right? My job is to show you how to do the things that you like to do safely, and to make sure that everybody's enjoying themselves. That's my job. So we're going to be talking about chlamydia today. So what is that going to look like? After this, we go through this spiel today, okay? You're going to be able to describe the most common symptom of chlamydia, recognize 3 or more ways to transmit chlamydia, and locate a testing site near you, okay? So what is chlamydia? Chlamydia is a sexually transmitted infection that grows from the bacteria Chlamydia trachomatis. I'm pretty sure I said that right, trachomatis. If untreated, chlamydia could alter the fertility of the person infected, as well as cause permanent damage to the reproductive organs. Chlamydia is a common STD in the United States and in the UK. In Europe, there are a reported 250,000 cases per year. In the U.S., the CDC estimates 1 in 20 sexually active young women aged 14 to 24 has had chlamydia. In 2020, there are an estimated 128.5 million new chlamydia infections among adults 15 to 49 years old globally. So that's 128 million people globally, across the globe, who will get chlamydia within some point in their lives. Okay, so just to kind of show you like how common it is, and again, I know that people don't really talk about it, but when you see the numbers, it's like if it's 1 in 20 sexually active people, then you're looking at something pretty common. Okay, transmission. Chlamydia is most commonly spread through sexual contact. So what does that mean? Unprotected oral sex can spread chlamydia. Okay, I know that we don't talk about that often, but many times when we talk about oral sex, we are rarely talking about protection. We are just talking about, getting down there and doing what you're doing. But you can get chlamydia by never having intercourse. Okay, you can still get chlamydia from oral sex. Oh, you went too far. Vaginal sex can spread chlamydia from partner to partner. Anytime your genitals come in contact with an infected person's genitals, you run the risk of developing chlamydia. Okay, so that's through any kind of contact. If these genitals are touching these genitals, or these are juices from these genitals are getting on the juices from these genitals, yeah, you could get chlamydia from that. Anal sex can increase the chance of contracting the infection. Sex through the anus creates micro tears, which give bacteria direct access to the bloodstream. Okay, many sexually transmitted infections are more susceptibly spread through anal sex because of the direct access to the blood. So those micro tears that happen in the skin when you're stretching the sphincter, those micro tears go straight into the bloodstream. And so if you have any viruses or any kind of infections on the, whatever you're sticking in there, it is giving it direct access to the bloodstream. So that can make it easier to get most sexually transmitted infections. Sharing toys can also spread. Let me me click the bullet point. Spread sharing toys can also spread chlamydia from person to person. It's best to clean or use a fresh condom between insertions. Okay, this is another thing that you don't see often when they show like adult videos. They usually show a bunch of people in a room full of toys and everybody's just swapping them around, and you know, you use this and you use that and put this on this and put that in that. That's actually not very safe. Those toys are highly porous, and so any kind of bacteria or anything that is present is going to get in the pores of that material and can be transferred to the next body. Excuse me. So even though in the videos, you know, in the adult videos, everyone is presumably been tested and they're having the safest form of sex possible, that doesn't always translate over into real life when you're watching that as a tool of education. So sharing toys is actually not a good idea. If you have multiple partners that you are using with the toys, you need to, you know, make sure you're using a barrier method for the toys, or make sure you're properly cleaning the toys, or use a different toy for different partners so that you're not mixing the body chemistries. Chlamydia can also infect the eyes and throat. If infected semen comes in contact with the mucosa of the eye, you can contract chlamydia in the eyes. It can also set up shop in the throat. So you know where this is going, right? And so not only is the chlamydia is going to be in the fluid exchange of of what you're doing. So it's, you know, if you can move through the fluid, and so if that fluid is finds itself near the eyes and it has chlamydia in it, then you can get chlamydia of the eyes. Ooh, let me see, what does that look like? Can we ooh, okay, trigger warning. I'm getting better at telling you before. Oh, that doesn't, I don't know, that look kind of scary. Oh, and of course it causes blindness. I want to see. Oh, they got them in babies. I'm not clicking on that. That's gonna make me sad. But yeah, if a baby is born, oh, I can. That's the next bullet point. We didn't get to that yet. Ooh, my cuticles are dry. I need to put some stuff on. Ooh, what's this? Infection of the eye with chlamydia causes inflammation of the conjunctiva of the upper eyelid. Ooh, repeated infections lead to scarring and contraction of the conjunctiva, which pulls the eyelashes against the surface of the eye. What does that mean? Oh, in turn, lashes scratch the surface of the eye. Infection and scarring of the eye surface may follow. Oh, so it pulls on the. Okay. Is that what? Gosh. That is. Okay, I'm going to click on that one. Am I going to be able to see it? That looks insane. I don't know, like, I'm sure it's not supposed to be that red, but yeah, yikes. Okay. Ooh. Okay. um can be passed on from mother to child through vaginal delivery. Pregnancy can spread the virus from mother to baby during vaginal delivery. This can cause the baby conjunctivitis and increase the chances of pneumonia. So if you are currently infected with or have chlamydia in your body, and your baby moves through your vaginal canal, that baby's gonna come in contact with that chlamydia and is gonna be gonna have to get treated for conjunctivitis, and could possibly make the child more susceptible to pneumonia. So, and other things, because the body needs a baby's body needs time to adjust to the new environment, to adjust to like the bacteria and all the stuff out. You know, that's why they don't want you kissing kids. Like, babies need time to build up their immune system. If a baby is born with the immune system already scrambling, you just make it more susceptible to being able to catch other stuff, and just for the baby being sicker in general. Symptoms. The most common symptom of chlamydia affects the vast majority of those infected. The most common symptom of chlamydia is no symptoms. At least 70% of genital chlamydia infections in women and 50% in men are asymptomatic, which means they do not show symptoms at the time of diagnosis, meaning they are not experiencing any symptoms while infected. Symptoms may not appear until several weeks after exposure in those who develop symptoms. Here are the symptoms you need to look out for after exposure. In men, swollen or sore urethra, which is going to be the hole that you pee out of, painful urination, urethral and anal discharge, testicular swelling, pain, and tenderness. Men can develop epididymitis, which is swelling of the tubes that transport sperm, causing them to become swollen and very painful. Women, you're looking at a swollen cervix, frequent and painful urination, vaginal and anal discharge, and pain in the lower abdomen. Women can develop pelvic inflammatory disease if the infection continues untreated. This could increase the chances of ectopic pregnancy, early labor, and infertility. Bleeding between cycles or after sex may also accompany a chlamydia infection. In both men and women, anal discharge could be present during infection. Reactive arthritis is another condition that untreated chlamydia may cause. Neonatal infection can cause conjunctivitis, which is the eye infection, and pneumonia. It can also cause preterm or early labor. If chlamydia infects the eyes, you may have redness, skin discoloration around the eye, itching or discharge. Sometimes chlamydia infections in the throat can cause soreness, but that's actually rare. If you notice any of these symptoms, discontinue being intimate until your treatment plan is complete. Okay? So you're looking for a culmination of these symptoms, right? Not just, one or the other, but usually you would have more than one if you are at that point. But here's the thing. For the most part, if you have chlamydia, you are not going to know you have it unless you get tested. So it is super, super important that you have a regular testing schedule. The schedule that your favorite sex educator recommends, okay, is if you are sexually active, no matter if you are partnered, if you are single, if you're dating and mingling or whatever, you should be getting yourself checked every year at a baseline, okay? If you are a little more frisky, again, no judgment, no tea, no shade. If you know you be in them streets, every 6 months, okay? Because if you can get on top of anything within a 6-month period, you should be good, right? If you are engaging in riskier behaviors for other reasons, again, no judgment, I would do even more, right? You need to be looking at every 2 to 3 months just to make sure. Because again, you have a small amount of time that you can treat it, where you can either completely eradicate the symptoms or treat the infection altogether, right? Without causing any additional stress or undue havoc on the body, right? So once a year, baseline, right? On a base level, once a year. If you are more sexually active, if you're single, and whatever, every 6 months. If you are a working girl or boy, or you got you a little sugar mama or whatever you're doing to pay your college tuition, do it every 2 to 3 months. Okay, just again, it is better to know and to be on top of it in the beginning than to have it sneak up on you and, could cause you a painful, swollen, growing, or, anal, vaginal, or anal discharge. Do you know how surprised you would be to find your butt leaking? So let's just stay on top of that before that surprises us, okay? We want to make sure that we are on top of our care, okay? All right. Testing. Testing is administered by a urine swab or swab sample. The test is called a nucleic acid amplification test, or NATS. Chlamydia is diagnosed with this NATS test. A vaginal or urethral swab can identify if you have chlamydia. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about it a little bit, okay? This is why if you can avoid the risky behaviors, do that. Just do what you need to do to make sure that you are being safe. Now, if you don't, you're going to have to go in. If you have a penis, they are going to take a Q-tip and they are going to stick it inside your hole. Okay? They're going to stick it in there, stick it in the hole. If you have a vagina, they're going to put you up on the stirrups. They're going to swab you down. They're going to put that thing in there, put the duck lips, get a good little swab, and that's what's going to happen. They can also use a urine sample to test for infection. But testing for chlamydia is painless and easy, and the infection is actually curable. Okay? So catch it early, get it cured, go on about your business, right? And, in all honesty, there's a whole range of STIs that you can get, but there are some that are going to be more common, and some places where catching them is going to be more likely. For instance, chlamydia is higher on college campuses and on military bases. People have higher rates of STDs and STIs in those kind of close quarters where you have that kind of freedom plus restriction, I guess you could say. But in those kind of situations, you are looking at a higher chance of contracting chlamydia in those environments. So again, you just got to make sure you're staying on top of your stuff, making sure that you know what's going on with your body, that if you do experience anal discharge, that you know immediately, and that, it's not nothing that's sneaking up on you or nothing like that. Like, you go to the doctor, you do what you got to do, and, go on about your business. Make sure that when you are, let's go to the next one, because I want you to see it. Treatment. Okay? Antibiotics are used to treat chlamydia. And so when you are talking about treating, you can, again, if it's caught early enough, you can kill the virus, go on about your day with no harm, no foul, right? I didn't check to see. Okay, I'm good. You may receive a single dose treatment of doxycycline or a round of treatment of azithromycin to take every 3 days. You should not resume sexual activity until all meds are completed. So even after you feel better, finish your medicine. It is recommended that you wait 7 days after treatment to have sex. That includes oral sex. That includes oral sex. That includes oral sex. Okay. Don't act like you didn't know. I told you. Okay. You will have to be diagnosed by a doctor to receive treatment. You can also buy testing kits in some areas to confirm infection and take that to your doctor. So, I forgot to turn my captions on. I'm gonna just do it now. We'll act like nothing happened. All right. My bad. I'm sorry. You will need to go to the doctor, but you can take, they have tests at the pharmacies or whatever that you can take that can confirm if you have it or not. If you are, you can take that to your doctor to get a treatment plan. They will likely still test you for that, but it doesn't help or it doesn't hurt to have more information to be able to advocate for yourself when you get there. So if you're allergic to antibiotics, they have other treatment options available. So just make sure you let your doctor know. So who is at higher risk? These are some of the things that can increase the chances of infection. If you have unprotected oral, vaginal, or anal sex, okay? Participate in sex work. And not because of, sex work is bad or dirty or any of that. It's just that you have a higher probability of encountering more people who could possibly have sexually transmitted infections because it is a part of your job. So, you have a higher risk just because you have a higher risk of exposure just due to the nature of your work. Regularly practice anal sex. Again, this is when you look at the data always says men who practice anal sex or men who have anal sex. But the issue is not that it's a man having the anal sex. It is the way that the sex takes place. And that is what puts you at a higher risk. So women who also participate and enjoy anal sex are just as in a higher risk of getting chlamydia, have the same amount of risk as, men who have sex with men. Now, men who have sex with men do risk a higher exposure rate due to the same reasons as the sex work, just because that is going to be one of your primary means of sexual activity. And so just because you're going to be doing that more and it's a higher risk doing it that way, you have a higher risk of getting chlamydia. But again, if you are a woman who prefers anal sex over vaginal sex and you have mostly anal sex or have anal sex at higher rates, you are also at a higher risk for contracting chlamydia. Again, due to the micro tears that take place within the sexual activity, not because of anything else. Young adults aged 15 to 24, okay? And we're going to put a caveat that says young sexual adults aged 15 to 24. Because if you are having sex, there's a high probability that you're going to catch it at some point, right? You won't be perfect all the time. You hope to be, right? You hope to be perfect all the time. But, you might slip up on some oral or, just a little hunching or rubbing it together and, you never know. So it can happen as long as you're sexually active. And this, again, age 15 to 24 is that age range where you might have a higher probability just because you're going to be engaging in some riskier behaviors because you're kind of young and you're going to have more chances because of, those are prime peak, sexual ages. So young adults age 15 to 24 also at a higher risk. And people who share toys, okay? And sharing toys is not something that always happens on purpose. Sometimes it happens accidentally, or it's not something that people normally think about. But sharing toys is going to put you at a higher risk just because, like I said, those toys are porous and they can hold on to things inside those little pockets and little holes that are in the material, okay? So how do we lower risk? What are some things that we can do to help us and keep us as safe as possible? Ensure your partners complete your treatment, okay? If you pop a positive test for chlamydia, then that means that all of your partners will need to be notified so that they can seek treatment as well. Everybody needs to complete treatment before we resume sexual activity. Okay? Everybody. All the people, everybody does. This is not something that, just you can do and hope quietly that no one's ever going to find out. No. Everybody's going to need to go and see a physician and get their prescription and take the complete prescription before we resume sexual activity. Okay? Has that been over? Oh, no. Okay. My bad. Get tested regularly. Again, at a base level, you should be getting tested once a year. Once a year. After I lost my train of thought. No. Once a year. If you are younger, 15 to 24, or, engaging in riskier behaviors, every 6 months. If you're engaging in even riskier behaviors, again, no judgment, every 2 to 3 months, you need to be getting tested. And most of those tests, you should be able to get at little to no charge. We'll talk about how to do that later. But, usually getting your test is pretty inexpensive. Practice safe sex. Of course, practice your safe sex. Use your dental dams. Use your condoms while you're doing oral sex. Use your condoms while you are engaging in sexual activity. If you are doing any anal play, oral to anal, oral to vaginal, all of those things, use the proper tools to make sure that you are protecting yourself from that. And just to, those are there for your protection. I see now that they're making like whole underwear. Like I saw that they made a whole little, we looked at it on STI underwear, but they make underwear that you can put in, and it's got an elephant trunk for your junk. And it's latex, and you can just put the whole thing on. It's like underwear, but it has an elephant trunk, and it's made of latex, and it's completely safe and feels real. Like it does not, at least that's what they said in the thing, is that it doesn't hamper feeling. It's just like using a condom, and it's just that it's all the way on. You're putting on condom draws. Yeah, condom draws. So those are some of the options you have. Practicing your safe sex, making sure you're getting tested regularly, using different types of barrier methods. If you do not have a dental dam, or and you are wanting to practice oral to anal, oral to vaginal, you can go on my TikTok. One of my pinned videos is how to turn a condom into a dental dam. So it's a quick video. You can see it. Most people have condoms on deck, and you can quickly turn a regular condom into a dental dam that you can use for oral or anal play. Avoid sex for 7 days after symptoms appear, okay? And that is going to be avoiding 7 days after you have started your treatment plan, okay? If you don't finish your round, you'll just keep passing the chlamydia back and forth to each other. So again, you have to make sure that you're taking the full treatment, that your partner is taking the full treatment, and that you guys are not engaging in sexual activity until that round of treatment is complete. Okay, so it should be 7 days from the day that you start taking your medication. That's when I'm not going to say after symptoms appear. I'm going to say, even though I wrote this, but I would rather say 7 days after you start your treatment plan. Okay, not after symptoms appear, because even after, if you wait 7 days, it's not going to cure the STI. You have to start the treatment plan, start the antibiotics to clear up the virus in the body. Have one monogamous partner, okay? This lowers the risk, but it doesn't make it zero, okay? Because you don't know what the people out there doing. You don't know. So having a single monogamous partner does lower your risk of getting an STI, but it does not make it zero, okay? So that's why it's important that even if you are in a committed partnered relationship, that you are still getting tested once a year. Also, some things lie dormant in the body for a really long time, and you don't get symptoms after infection. You get symptoms way down the line, and you don't even know when you could have, like hepatitis B, for example. Hepatitis B can hide in the body for years. You wouldn't know. And then, one day you get tested and it shows that the virus is, taking over in the body, and it's enough to cause like damage. So having one monogamous partner is going to lower that risk, but it doesn't make it zero. Okay. I just want to make sure. Now, I'm not going to set you up. I know what them people be out here doing. Okay. You got to protect yourself. And again, most things, if you do this and you are on top of it and you are making sure that you are good, you should be able to get it, get your treatment and go on about your business and not have any other issues, any other fertility issues or anything like that, right? You just get chlamydia, get tested, notice something's off, go get tested, go through your round of treatment, and you're good, right? You're good. Okay. So let's go through some frequently asked questions. Hold on. I make me some sweet tea, some black tea, and I put some cherries in there. Thinking I'm fancy, I just had some cherries. I didn't know what to do with them, so I put them in my tea. I'm like, yeah, I made me some black cherry tea. No, I just had cherries left over. So I threw them in there. Whatever, I do what I want. Okay. Frequently asked questions. What are some of the common questions associated with chlamydia? Can you contract chlamydia more than once? The answer to that is yes. You can become reinfected with the virus even after you are cured. All partners must complete treatment to prevent reinfection. So if you are, again, if you don't finish the treatment, if you don't go through the whole thing, your partner doesn't finish the treatment, say you finish all of them, you go through all the days that are on there, and your partner stops at like day 4 or 5 because they're starting to feel better, and you guys go to have sexual activity after the 7 days, you could be reinfected because they did not finish their full round of treatment. You can contract chlamydia as many times as you come in contact with it. Can you contract chlamydia from a toilet? No. Chlamydia is spread through sexual activity. You cannot get infected from coughing, hugging, sneezing, kissing, or any type of casual contact, okay? I know that everybody is deathly afraid of the public toilet seat, but that is actually not how you get sexually transmitted infections. You have to have the sex. That's the good part. You do have to you do have to have the sex to get the sexually transmitted infection or being engaging in sexual activity. Not all of them, but for this one, yes. Can chlamydia be fatal? Yes. Chlamydia can be fatal if you can get pregnant. It may cause ectopic pregnancies, which can rupture and become fatal. The infection alone cannot kill you, okay? So getting chlamydia is not what's going to be the thing that kills you. you increasing your risk of ectopic pregnancies will kill you. They can be fatal, okay? Because what essentially happens is that your egg that grows into a baby is somewhere else besides the uterus. And so the uterus is the only place in the body that can house a baby. That it's the environment that a baby is supposed to be in. That baby cannot survive if it's caught in the fallopian tubes. Okay? So if it gets caught in the fallopian tubes and it starts to grow, it will rupture that tube and you will bleed internally, and that could cause other kinds of issues. So it being the reason that your chlamydia can be the reason that you have an increased risk for ectopic pregnancies, which can be fatal to, the actual pregnancy can be fatal, but not the chlamydia. So is there a vaccine for chlamydia? No. There is no vaccine at this time for chlamydia, okay? If you catch it, you just have to go get the treatment, and that would be what they would suggest for you. It is not something that you can be protected from to where you wouldn't get it. No. If you are going meat to meat, then you can get chlamydia, okay? Where do I find testing or treatment? If you have health insurance, you already pay someone to handle that. They don't regularly test for all STIs, but you can always request whatever you want. So some of the STI panels only have like basic things. You can ask for a fuller panel if you want to test for different types of things. Chlamydia usually is on that panel, but certain things like maybe HPV or maybe hepatitis might not be on there. But again, there are anything that you want to be tested for, you can be tested for. You can ask your healthcare provider to run a panel for you. Different testing, depending on what you're testing for, you could have different treatment plans or different testing options. Some of them are going to be swabs. Some of them might be a blood draw. Some of them might be, a urine sample. Just depends on what STI you're trying to get tested for. If you don't have health insurance, you can contact your county health department for testing and resources. So what is that going to look like? Okay, I'm in Oklahoma. So let's look up the Oklahoma County Health Department. And programs and services. Let's go to clinical services. Immunizations, vaccine, family health, communicable diseases, TB screening, blood tests. Can y'all see this? Oh yeah, you can. Okay. Family health. So here are some clinics they will have. What else? What's this? What's this? Okay. Okay. So you can do that. Let's look. Madison, Wisconsin. Wisconsin Department of Health. Food poisoning, fungal infections, immunizations, sexually transmitted diseases. So you can do this with any state. Just type in the state and the county Department of Health. They will have a state Department of Health, but you should also have a county Department of Health, and that will give you an address. Here you go: chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis. These are all the antibiotic resistant gonorrhea. We'll talk about that one day. Um, ooh, what's this? I never heard of that. Cancroid. I'll have to check that out. Put it on my list. So that gives you some additional options to tell you you can go through your county health department and you can get testing, you can get HIV testing, you can get condoms, you can get other harm reduction services. Most places do have harm reduction as an option for state sexual health. And so if you find the department that handles that, you should be able to get some of that stuff online. Sometimes you can get the tests and the condoms. They can send condoms directly to your door discreetly without, people being in your business. They have testing kits that they can send in the mail as well. So they can send you a kit where you can do like an at-home test for certain types of things to, take to your doctor if you need to. So there are a lot of resources out there, and there are states doing the work to try to help lower the statistics on STD and STI prevention. We're doing better. We're doing better as a country. We're doing better as a nation. But I'm not sure how much progression that's going to be with, the current administration, like how we're moving right now, because a lot of that funding is being cut for those programs for harm reduction, sexual transmitted infections, things like that. Many of those programs are being axed. So you just make it really difficult to do what you need to do and get what you need to get if there's no money there, right? And people are politicizing care, politicizing healthcare, and so that's the current climate that we live in. Kind of don't know. It's the reason why I'm doing this. Just trying to get ahead of everything that we know is going to happen with the changes that are being made, with everything that's going on. The cuts that are being made are going to directly affect a lot of the services, especially for sexual health services, for reproductive health services, for maternal health services, LGBTQ services. All of those types of things are going to go on the chopping block and just make it more difficult to get the type of care that you need. So it's just super important. Again, this is free. You don't even, you don't have to pay me. People usually pay me for this, okay? But I want you to be able to have the knowledge that you need to prepare yourself for whatever could come, right? And again, the expectation from me is not for you to be perfect. It is not for you to live an abstinent, holy, journey. That is not my job. I don't have nothing to do with that. If you do, more power to you. I hope that brings you peace and pleasure. That's not my job. If you are out here upside down because it's spring break and nobody's paying your bills, and you got a babysitter, and your girlfriend was on Snapchat with somebody else and you out turned, I also support that. I want to make a space for you to be able to be turned, but be turned safely, okay? To safely be turned. That's what I want for you. So hopefully these types of things and these types of classes will help you to release any shame or fear that you may be picking up about STDs and STIs, and will help you to stay on top of your own care, so that you can get the best outcome. I want you to be able to have sex for a really long time, okay? I want you to be able to use all the pieces and the parts for as long as they can be used, okay? But the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we take care of it. So, and this is me and my plea to you, okay, to take care of it. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat. If you have any questions that you are not comfortable sharing with everybody else, that's fine too. You can send them to, let's see. You can send them there. Let me put it on my TikTok too. Or you can send them to ask Coach Catasha at expressionofrepression.com. If you have an issue or something that you would like some personal, again, everybody don't have to be in your business. You don't have to. You don't have to like put yourself out there. But let me give you my link tree, and I'm gonna give you my booking in case you want to. In case you want to set up something that feels a little more authentic to you, right? There's my link tree, and then I was gonna put my booking in there. Is it in here? It should be. Where are you? There you go. And we'll drop that there and there. All right. Okay, so let's talk about what we got coming up for the week. I also know, I apologize, I was not here at the end of last week. Your girl bit the dust. I think I'm one of them people that get sick after they travel. I had an amazing time in Cabo. It was so relaxing. It was, oh gosh, like I never been there before. We would have been to like plenty of towns in Mexico. I love me some Mexico. We love a good beach. But I had never been to Cabo, and it wasn't on my list. But one of my friends was getting married, and they asked us to, they said, "Hey, y'all want to come?" And me, all you gotta do is invite me. All you gotta do is tell me I can come, and I don't need you to do nothing else. I'm in the building. Don't invite me, cause I'ma show up. I tell my friends that all the time. Listen, I know y'all being cute. Don't invite me, cause I pull up. I pulls up with a carry-on. What we doing? I got my own pillow. Can you just clean the couch off? Let me sleep right here. I'm fine with that. So, but it was really, really good. But when I got back, like, my throat was hurting. My sinus cavity was hurting. I just wasn't feeling good. And then the next day after, so we got back on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I wasn't feeling good. That's when like my nose and stuff. I thought I was like on a fever, but I never picked up a fever. And then on Friday was my ovulation day. So my egg was detaching from and was taking the rest of my body with it. I was just like, please, please give me a break. So I do apologize. I was not here. But we'll run that. We missed Sex Tech Thursday, so we might run that one back. See what they're talking about. But coming up, what are we going to be talking about for this week? Our weekly schedule. Of course, today we had our STI Index. We talked about chlamydia. Sex Ed with Coach Catasha is going to be our weekly class. It just covers like some of the basics of sex education when you're talking about uh, just um, periods, erectile dysfunction, libido issues, arousal desire issues, premature ejaculation, just all the regular, sexual education stuff. On Tuesday, which tomorrow, we're going to be doing Pleasure Tools Tuesday, which we're going to be talking about intentional touch and exploring non-sexual touch and the importance of non-sexual touch. That one's actually going to be fun. It's one of the ones that I teach with my couples, and I get really good feedback on that one. So we'll talk about that tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. All of these are going to be for Central Standard Time. On Wednesday is going to be Ask Coach Catasha. That is where we do our live Q&A. So I just want to give like a little, not a trigger warning, but just to kind of, hey, because the live Q&As are a little, get a little spicy. But it's important that we do it and that we make a space where you can come in. So you can come, drop your questions in the chat. I will answer them live. If you don't want your questions in the chat, you can send them to me to the email addresses I put in there, or you can send them to any of my social medias, any PM, DM, BBM, however you need it, MySpace, however you want to send it to me. You can send it to me, and I will bring it back to the chat. I haven't checked it since I've been back, so I don't even know if it's questions already in there. But I will bring it back to the chat, and we will discuss it. Discuss it here. So we'll have the conversation here, but you don't have to have any of your information attached to that if you don't want. So I want to make sure that you have the space to ask your questions, but also not feel like you being put on the spot, because that's not what it's for. Okay. All right. So that's going to be on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. On Thursday, we do Sex Tech Thursday. And that's where we talk about new technologies in sex tech. Like, what are they inventing? What's going on? What's the new craze, new sexual technology craze? And this one is actually going to be an orgasm trainer or climax trainer. And it is for penises. And it's the future of stamina training. So that's going to be super interesting. That's actually going to be a class over a model. I just want to say that people are not paying me for that. I will say it during the class too, that I am not getting paid for it. So I'm not advertising for them, but it is cool to see what they have going on. So we'll be looking at that. And that's going to be at 12 p.m. on Thursday, Central Standard Time. And then on Friday, we're going to have Late Night with Coach Catasha. And that is when we do our like late night check-in. And it's just a way for us to like touch base and, see what's going on and, talk about what's going on in the news and in the sexual world and what are the people getting into, stuff like that. So just come by, chat. It's our little weekly rundown. For, just talking about sexual stuff, talking about butts and stuff. So please keep in mind that these classes are not safe for work. You definitely need to make sure you have your headphones on, because baby, you cannot come live here when the people fire you. We're talking about, foreskin over the work speakers. Okay, so make sure you have your headset on, make sure you have your closed caption or whatever you need to have on to make sure that we can keep our coin. Okay. You have to be 18 or older to view this course. To view this, you should be 18 or older to even see this page. If you are not 18 or older, this is not a sexual education that is appropriate for your age group. There are sex educators that are appropriate for adolescent learning, but this is not one of them. So Unfortunately, if you're a kid, I love you, but you can't be here. All right, you gotta go. But if you are an adult, this is an adult space where I teach predominantly adults, predominantly black adults, about sex education and sexual health. And that's what we're going to be doing on these channels. You can find me on Twitch and you can find me on YouTube. You can also find me streaming live on TikTok. I just started doing that just because I can do it all together. So, streaming live on TikTok. You can find me. I'll be honest, my TikTok is not usually what I use for like my classes and stuff. It's usually just the regular me living my regular life, me with my nieces and nephews, me gardening, me annoying my husband. But I am a sex educator. It is a part of who I am and part of my life. So, it will make its way on there. But uh, if you follow me on TikTok, don't look for a lot of sex education conversations. It's not really a place for that. You can get banned easily over there for that. And just, I think it has something to do with just the culture of the company that owns it. Even though, it's wild, some of the stuff that you will see on there, but I know that some of my stuff will definitely get me blocked and banned. So I don't want to do that. All right. So I will be on there. And some, even now, like we're here now, but there's still a high probability that we could be blocked, we can be banned at any time. I'll be back, but that don't stop them from from blocking me. Like, I'll be back though. So yeah. Yeah. So if you have any questions, again, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Let me go peek around, see what's going on. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm still what's that mean? I'm gonna have to ask my husband what that means. I like having a smart dip. Um, having a nerd boyfriend. I got a nerd boyfriend. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Ooh, let's see where we are on our. Ooh. Let's see where we are on our achievements. Okay, we're moving up. I still have to get an average of 3 viewers. I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. What else do we have going on? We should be going for another raffle soon. Ooh, we should do that this month. Can I? Do I have time? Ooh. Okay, hold on. Man, it's really hard to get that one, but I'm gonna keep working at it. We'll see. I'll figure it out. All right. Let's see. Do we have any questions about STIs? Let me go check all of my chats. I don't even know what that is. Okay, okay. Ooh. Ooh, is this showing? Oh, I need to update that. Okay. Boom. Oh, I never changed these either. My bad. What about this one? Okay, that one's fine. Is that? Hold on. Am I tripping? Is that the wrong time? That might be the wrong time. My goodness. What did I do? Uh, where's my schedule? Where are you? Are you in here? Yes. I should be 12:30. I don't have the right times on there. Oh, I'm tripping. Okay, let's man, I'm telling you, being a one person show, you be feeling real stupid sometimes. But you know what? It only feels like that because I'm doing stuff. I'm really mad at myself. I think I posted that too. A mess. But it's the same mess I always be in. So what do you do? You know? Okay, let's download that so we can be a better person. We'll do an MP4 and I'm hungry. I have been getting 43 cents for like 3 years. Getting a deposit notification for 43 cents for like a couple of years for some of my books. Download. Do 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 do. Okay, so now I'm no longer raggedy. I don't think. But you never know, right? So, that's that. I don't know where you are, but we have a lot of um, terrible weather coming up. So, make sure you're staying weather aware. I think I know it says be rain, but I think they said it's some severe weather, severe storms. Oh, return tonight. Oh, okay. So okay. It's planning on raining tonight. I didn't know that. I thought I had till tomorrow at least. Oh, that don't show that on here. Oh no, that's a flood watch. Oh, it's in the middle of the night. Ooh wee. It's raining. All right, all right. So make sure that you are here next week. I mean, for the rest of the week. Uh, Excuse me. You could save the shows that you want on your channel, or you could just follow me, and it'll let you know when I'm going live. Just so you know, especially if there's a class that you want to see or something that you don't want to miss, make sure that you save the calendar so you can access it. Also, hold on, let me. Yo, you see it? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yep. You see it? You do, you do, you do. You know, listen. Hey, 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 hey. I know the people feel away. I know that the people are feeling away, but it's Thunder in 5. It's Thunder in 5, baby. And I would have said 4, but sometime they be making me want to get a switch. Like, oh, we want to tear Chet Holmgren's legs up. Like, bro, what is you out there doing? But they're still my boys. They're still my boys. Not too much. Not too much. But I've been hearing all the little, oh, it's boring, small market. Well, why the big markets didn't win? You could have been watching the big market team if they had won. You just gotta start winning. Y'all gotta listen. Hey, you gotta start winning. You can't complain about small markets taking the, because you just gotta win. You just need to be able to win. And so, like, hey, I get it. You know what it is. Forever. Forever. Big Daddy was talking about trying to make a game. We don't know. We don't know. We gonna see. He was talking about going to Indiana, catching the game in Indiana. I don't know about that, because Bruce be that Thunder be sensitivity to him. We get in there in the stadium and people start tripping. He gonna make us leave. He gonna like, come on, man, we gotta go. We can't be in there if we cutting up. So he gonna make us go home. But we still gonna win though. But we still gonna win. I don't understand what all the hoopla is about. Like, Thunder plays exciting basketball. Like, when you watch the Thunder play, there's the speculation that they gonna win, but boy, they be, listen. You don't know until you get to the last little minute, the last little corner of a second and post left. You don't know who gonna win that game. So, like, I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a big game. I would have liked it against New York, because then we would be going to New York to watch the game. I would have liked that. But I mean, where was y'all at? New York? Why y'all let that small market come in and come in and smack, smack, smack? I'm just saying. Thunder in 5. So I'm looking forward to that. The city finna be turned. Like, the city finna be turned. But 2 turn for me. I'm gonna be in the house, because now those used to be the days. I used to be out there ducking and dodging bullets in my Baker shoes. I used to be out there, but ain't got it no more. It's gone. Ain't he no longer has that in her. So, but hey, I still just try to be as safe as you can, but I know how it go. So, and I was out there in it when it was bad, so I don't have nothing to say. I was in Lexus parking lot every weekend. They was do, and I'm out there looking like a little Kim. I'll be back next week. So I don't have nothing to say. The city is gonna be, it's gonna be live. It's gonna be a bunch of cowboys riding their little horses in the street and stuff, and their little thunder jerseys. I love it. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna try to see. I don't know how many shirts I have because they don't really make a lot of thunder shirts and extra, extra, extra. I get it. I understand. It's a lot. It's a lot of X's, a lot of extras. So yeah, but it's gonna be nice. I'm excited to see like what comes of that. Even though like I was absolutely against the um uh stadium stuff. I still am because the way these schools and stuff's being shut down and these kids can't read and all kind of stuff. Like, yeah, basketball is great, but these babies need to be able to read. Like, we can't just be dribbling balls and these kids can't read, read stop signs and menus and stuff. We have to do better. We gotta do better. So, but I am hype about the playoffs. Hype about all the stuff. Harassing my sugar muffins while basketball's on is my favorite pastime. Let me tell you who got 261 questions about everything that's going on. But so lucky for me, I know who I married. And he just be answering, he be wanting me to know. So he just be telling me he don't be annoyed or nothing. Like sometimes I'll be like, can you come here and watch the basketball? He's like, you don't even watch it here? Like, I do. But you watch it with me. I'm like, okay. So he don't be annoyed. He should be though. He should be. I am a menace. Every single thing that's happening on TV, I want to know who's that person back there. Why they keep putting the camera on them? Why they ain't putting the names up? I don't like when they show celebrities and they don't put the name up because I don't know them people. Who is these people? Who is these people? I know who Spike Lee is. I know who Ben Stiller is. I don't know who none of these other people are. Who are these people? I need some names. I need to put a little tag at the bottom because I don't know these folk. So did I ask Bruce. He know who they are. I don't be knowing. Especially if they not black. I don't be knowing non-black people. I do not be knowing them people. They I don't. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Um so yeah, that is going to be I think that's gonna be our stuff for the week. I'm trying to make sure I didn't leave nothing out. I had all this stuff when I apologize for not being here last week. I'm gonna prepare for that a little bit better. I was on the uh Mexico Wi-Fi, and I don't know if they wanted me to be on there like that. It was really hard to do, but I also was doing some stuff to make it a little bit harder. So, um, I'm gonna prepare and plan a little bit better next time to make sure that I can still do my responsibilities because I like to do my classes. I be in the mix, like, and don't get me wrong, I be in stuff, but I like to still be able to take care of my business. So I look forward to hearing from you. Um, if you have questions or whatever, I enjoy receiving those messages, even like the crazy ones. I like them too. Uh, Sometimes y'all be making me think, man. I'm like, do I? A lot of things, because I've been doing this so long, a lot of the things I know, even if I don't have a deep knowing of them, I know of and around, and I can kind of get you in the right place, or at least move you in the right direction. If you have questions or anything that you want to reach out to, again, if you have questions or anything that you want to reach out to talk about, let me know. You can find me pretty much everywhere under Coach Catasha or Catasha. And I'll be back here tomorrow at 12:30 Central Standard Time. Play nice.